They turn to Wolf as Bang feels like he can get back into the fight. Just 100.
Sama has no heal.
On Sama. One more shot as Wolf wants the glitter lands. Bang on the run. Barrier comes in. King. Onto Bang. Fight in the jungle still.
They can get
Wolf's going down. 2 kills in the bot lane as Misfits pull the trigger.
Talia will have priority afterwards.
I win off your one. What is he doing?
Talia is moving now to you. Talia is moving to you now, okay?
Come to me, come to me, come to me.
I can go,
So you need to be careful now. You need to be careful now, Max.
I'm fine, I'm fine.
Nice.
This guy's over.
They play. Never mind, never mind. Hey guys, I am here with Ignar and Young Buck, the support and coach of the EU All-Stars team. Guys, I want you to know you are not out of this yet. If in the next game, Turkey beats Korea, then we're gonna find ourselves in a crazy 3-way tie between EU, Turkey, and Korea. We're gonna have some crazy 1v1 matches. What do you guys think the chances of that happening are, and who are you gonna send in?
For now, if Turkey beat Korea, then we have to tiebreaker. So I'm waiting Turkey's power, and if happens, then I want to send POE because he lost 1v1 already. So I want to give him one more chance. Yeah.
I think our chances are quite small. I think Korea is way stronger right now. But we talk as a team, and it would be really fun if the coaches could decide the 1v1. It's out?
Oh no, we're still going. We're still going. Sorry.
But if the other coach wouldn't want to do that, then it's going to be either POE or Reckless, depending on which team we're going to face.
Perfect. And Ignar, what has it been like playing with all of these EU All-Stars as a team?
I think EU All-Star team was really fun, especially I thought Reckless, just in my imagine, Reckless will be really like cold and just like practice really hard, but he was really fun and everybody was like really did many joke and just really nice guys. So I was really happy to fun. I mean happy to play with. Yeah.
How about for you? Was this a dream team to coach or was this a nightmare?
No, it was a dream team, and I think there were not any G2 players, which kind of sucked in the beginning, but I really started to like all these new players and actually getting to know different kind of people and how they play in game, how they communicate. And this is a really fantastic group of players. They've been a lot of fun. There's a lot of high energy, a lot of joking around, even though everyone comes from a different team.
And what were your guys' main takeaways from All Stars, or what did you guys learn from this?
I think All-Star was just happy. I mean, just, yeah, for me, yeah.
Yeah, the main takeaway was just having fun and making sure that every player plays the kind of champion that got them voted into the tournament. So we had to put Soaz on Nasus, of course, because he's known for the dog champ. We put Ignar on the playmaking supports. And yeah, just having fun and just playing around a bit with the meta.
And I'm sure the EU fans loved watching it at home. But Ignar, for you, this is the last time that people at home in EU are going to be able to cheer you on representing EU. At All Stars, you played with teammates and you also played with past opponents. What has this tournament meant for you as a closer of your time in EU?
This tournament was playing for EU, last of 2K17, but was really happy and like I got pressured a bit, but I'm not going to play for EU 2K18, but I don't know more future, so for now was happy. Yeah.
Do you have any favorite memories from playing at EU?
Actually, I have a lot of memories in EU, especially like at Worlds, it was biggest memory, but more happy memory was just every day in Misfits Gaming House with teammates, because every teammate was really fun and nice guys. So yeah, just normal days was best happy days. Yeah.
With losing Ignar, is the EU scene going to be impacted? Are we missing out on someone?
Yeah, we definitely are. He's actually been a really good shot caller for the team, and he knows a lot about the game, so he will be missed for sure.
Well, guys, thank you so much for this interview. I have my fingers crossed for you, and we're going to head over to our friends at the desk.
Thank you very much, Ivory May, Ignar, and Young Buck. Welcome back, everybody, to Game 5, where LCK take on the team from Turkey as we're about to head into picks and bans. Obviously, we heard that EU was trying to get a little bit of love out of this one. We'll see what can happen in this game. Korea is going to have that first pick, though, make things a little more difficult.
Yeah, #1 fans for Turkey right now is the European squad. And I just want to quickly toss back to the interview. I definitely agree. I think Avale asked some great questions right there. Just Ignar is going to be super missed. I know incredible memories, Misfits versus SKT, that Leona performance, that was amazing. I hope to see that if this is the last hurrah for them, that he feels happy with the performance, but hopefully Turkey can do what they failed to do at Worlds and take down Korea.
Honestly, Ignar made one of my favorite games to cast, and he played in ever. So that guy's done a lot for a lot of people. Here we are, though, Korea All-Stars versus Turkey All-Stars, Game 5 of the day. Here at All-Stars 2017. Jin and Azir thrown out of the mix here for Korea to start off as Ornn and Az. We always see Ornn down there. I feel bad for the guy. Got a fantastic mustache.
You know, Zoe hasn't been banned, and sometimes people will spell out Zoe down there by banning Zoe, Ezreal, and Ornn.
There you go.
We didn't get the correct order this time around. I actually, well, see, they could have done it.
They still spelled it.
Yeah, but it's
not in the right order.
Are you dyslexic?
We're seeing now. We could figure this out in this game. 20 seconds left here in the pick on the side of Turkey All-Stars after seeing the MF. We talked about that as well last game. If the MF or the Ezreal left up or banned, usually you just get one or the other.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they banned the Varus and then took the Misfortune. Normally you see the Varus and the MF get paired together, so Korea obviously feeling pretty good that they had the first pick, that they were going to get that flex pick, and then kind of deny one of the powers that goes with it. Ashe. Very exciting. So what I like about Ashe in this meta is she still kind of falls under the realm of the poke champions. Like I do not think that she is as strong as the Varuses or the Misfortunes or the Jins, those other Comet users. But her ability to gain lane control, to shove someone underneath the tower, and then to whittle them away with the volley. You know, Sivir can do the same thing. She can push the wave in, but it's actually really hard for her to whittle down the health bars there.
Yeah.
And then when you pair her with another, I was going to say Comet using support, but crush all my hopes and dreams, then it can be really obnoxious. But she's providing that all-in engagement. We talked about Southeast Asia. You know, they put the utility elsewhere in their composition so they can unlock someone else like their jungler in case to not go the Sejuanis, to go for more of the Kha'Zix and Lee Sin. So by having it on the AD carry, so Stomaged might get the same gift.
Zeitnot as well, a guy, keep a very cool head. You'll probably see some really good situational arrows from him. Whether he's doing good or bad, he usually can do very good even if the team is having a rough game. You see the Sejuani locked in for ambition. He can be just that ambitious on that Sejuani, going very hard in the matchup. And a Taric, which means even more, we are going to be in your face, and we're bringing the Cosmic Radiance with us.
And reminder that Taric is always going to make full use when you are being the engager or the aggressor in these hard engage compositions. His ultimate doesn't work so well when you're reacting a lot to it, so you don't want to see the Ashe arrow and then the immediate Taric ultimate. You want to see Sejuani running at you and the Taric ultimate charging up.
Oh boy, I'm late. Jarvan locked in, and we are in two-ban phase dos. We'll have to see. Jarvan Quattro locked in last for All-Stars.
But already a ton of engagement on both these compositions. Nice stacks of AoE, some good poke. They really haven't given themselves away. I kind of talk about core of compositions and then just like general comps. I like to think that a core of a composition really defines exactly what it is, and I feel like both teams have, you've got the general meta sprinkling there of let's have some poke, let's have some hard engage, but nothing too crazy yet.
So does your core also have to follow what the core does, or can they be crazy?
I'm trying to think of like a good example of a core champion.
That can change, kind of.
It's just kind of like that really defining factor, like a Jace or an Ezreal.
Right. Okay.
They're going to be the champions that you're playing around. It doesn't really matter what you put around them.
Makes
It's going
sense.
to be a poke composition, and then everything revolves around their power spikes.
Well, there won't be any Jace or Gnar spikes coming out of this one. We see them both banned as well. We had Shen last game, so a lot of players that just had a roundabout, or champions, I should say, finding some time on the bench here in Game 5 of the day, as Talia will be the final one, taken away from Frozen. As Faker says, I don't want to deal with that one. Maybe that'll be the last ban.
Given respect to Frozen, that said, his Echo is still available.
And Syndra.
I don't expect that he'll go towards it, but I would actually really love. I mean, this may be the last time that we see Turkey. I'd love Frozen to just put it all on the line and go for his signature pick. He recently did an AMA, and he talked pretty much at length about why the pick was super important to him. He says it is his clutch pick, and EULCS would certainly need some clutch right now.
Absolutely. A lot riding on this game for more than just Turkey. And it is going to be the Trundle hover. The Maokai is what they're looking at for the side of Thaldrin in that top lane. We know Thaldrin to be that tank. We call that captain can call his captain style, I should say, from that top lane and be able to make the teleport plays and initiations. 0 seconds means the Trundle is locked in. There is quite a bit of beef on this side of Korea All-Stars as well. It is just going to be Prey able to sit in the back and let that bullet time fly.
Yeah, a lot of control, and it does get very scary for Thaldrin up there, like you said on the Maokai. If you can control him, he does have the reputation of being a captain in Turkey, so if you slow him down, the crowd recognizes what Faker's hovering. You can certainly throw a wrench in Turkey's plans, and there you go, crowd, you got it.
He never loses on this one, right? Isn't that the statistic?
Did lose at Worlds,
yeah.
but we don't talk about that. So the unkillable Demon King on his formerly unkillable Ryze.
Yes.
I was actually having an interesting conversation with Papa Smithy early. We were talking about, how Orianna has kind of fallen out of the meta, and Ryze has kind of become the new Orianna in the sense that you can just blind pick it. It's just one of those champions that doesn't matter what you're playing across from, you should just pick it safely. It's got the defense, and a lot of that goes with the itemization changes. The fact that he can swing into Abyssal Mask if he needs to.
Right.
If he doesn't want to expend the cost, maybe he can go into the Merc Treads, have the TUR available for him. So I think it's just well-rounded, even since Worlds, and especially on the new patches.
Nicely versatile. He will be up against Frozen's Syndra. We saw that coming into play very big as they were playing in the play-in stage for Worlds, making their way into the Worlds group stage.
And you called it, Riv. You said it was going to be the Syndra, so you are the new prophet.
There we go.
And now we have a ton of pick on Turkey's composition. You've got the Syndra, you have the Ashe, so you're basically throwing out kind of non-committal CC, either in the ultimate. You'd probably rather throw it out in the Scout of the Week. It's a little bit of a lower cooldown. And then if you like what you hit, you just throw the Maokai and the J4 on top of it. So pretty standard 5v5 pick composition that really relies on grabbing vision control and being the first team over to an objective, which when you're looking across from the LCK Super Team, may not happen.
This is going to be a tough snipe as well. I'm trying to look at this team for what Zeitnot has to hit. And he's got to thread 4 champions to slap Prey in the face.
He doesn't want to hit any of those champions. You are correct. It's just the Misfortune is kind of a viable target for him. On the other side, for the Korean All-Stars, you have so much CC. Pretty much every single lane is a ganking option for Ambition. And he can either play this one out slow or get things started relatively quick.
Good amount of Freljord representation coming into Game 5 of the day. We'll see how that is used here on the Rift. It's going to be Korea coming out of the blue side and Turkey All-Stars on the right. They make their way to the Rift. Looks like it's going to be Ambition just keeping safe with Faker in the beginning, and they'll see how many kind of head poke out from the fog of war they can get here and figure out what Turkey's planning early game.
And already we've got the Comet Respect build coming out. It used to be in the case of the Misfortune and the Graves, back when Graves was an AD carry, that you would see the Respect Graves start, which was like cloth armor and then pots, because you were accounting for the damage. Now you've got boots and a 4-pot start. So naturally you want more potions because you're going to get poked, you're going to lose more health, and you just want the sustain so you can sit in the lane.
It's really annoying too, just to make it rain cometed all the time for Misfortune. Prey's going to have fun with that as well. Just place it outside the minions, make sure you don't push, and you're always doing damage.
And it syncs up so well. I think Make It Rain's like a 17-second cooldown. Comet's like a 14 or 17-second cooldown that it starts. So usually when your Comet comes back up in the early levels, Make It Rain is also available.
Oh, from support to AD, still just makes you want to pull your hair out. We'll see how Prey and Gorilla play it. One of that most notable duos we know, so many years together. Not many supports and AD carries can even say that together. Usually it's switched up so much.
And Prey is one of the only attenders at this All-Star that has been the representative on the LCK every single time, so...
Show off.
Quite an accolade for himself. But you are right, usually Prey and Gorilla, they don't get a lot of assistance. It's probably not the way he wanted to go.
Yeah. Finding a little damage to the brush. CuVee now meeting Thaldrin in lane, and we'll see how this one plays out to start things off. Shield on shield action, as they might not get too much damage done there.
The classic try to tilt Faker with the cheesy level 2 gank. He's waiting for the cooldown because he used his flag and drag to get in, trying to dodge the ward in the river, so now he has it, and here he goes.
Sees it, actually starts
And-
working towards the bottom side. Very nicely done as well. They have that vision control towards the top, so you would kind of expect Faker to say, hey, I feel more comfortable hanging towards the left side of mid, but plays that one very smart.
I think Faker took a page from Karsa's interview where Karsa said he was the only SK team member, so he's probably going to be alone and we should pick on him. He's like, no, no more. I will play this super safe, stand in the exact middle of the lane and expect everything.
Looks like level 2s didn't do too much for you for the bot lane. It was hit first by Turkey, and Korea just playing it nice and safe on the back, getting the heals in when necessary and not going aggressive.
Zeitnot's doing a great job. When you play against the Misfortune, you want to stand to the side of the creeps naturally, because if she kills the creep that she's using her double up off of, I don't know if you've ever been hit by that in solo queue, but you lose like half your HP, and then just...
Usually try to forget in the first place.
I just ult it.
It's always, there's not much in the game, I guess Zoe now, where you're just like, oh my, what was that? And that's one of the things, that double up does that. Especially with Zoe, on the ban list this game, thank God. We'll see how the teams just fare overall now. 3.5 minutes in, not too much action, but a gank towards the mid lane that Faker was able to get away from.
And there was a possibility of a return gank. Stomaged is hanging around there, but Frozen's pretty much like, no, I want to take my back timer, so should continue to be a little bit slow, but you can already tell kind of what the game plan is from Turkey, which makes sense. You've got the hard CC from the Syndra, you've got the displacement from the Jarvan. Ryze, I'm not going to say he's immobile, but you know, he doesn't have a dash built in or anything.
Little pressure from Stomaged down towards the bot side. The flash, the lick. Is it enough, though, to stick the kill in? They're actually going for Prey. A little bit of mismatch onto Gorilla as Prey was just out of the flag and drag, so they're not able to capitalize. Zeitnot was just a bit far behind and only delivers one volley into the fight. Korea now with a little bit of knowledge of where Stomaged was. We'll see if Ambition makes his presence known bottom.
I have a feeling that Ambition's just going to continue to power farm through this again. He had the opportunity because there was so much CC across the map from him and all of his laners that, hey, do I want to play this one, you know, hard and fast and look for the counter ganks, or do I just want to play this one a little bit slower and farm it up? Sejuani, one of the few tank junglers that really hasn't fallen out of favor in the new Runes Reforged system. It's pretty much been either Sejuani or Rek'Sai, and you kind of choose, you know, do I want a more active early game? You know, am I facing across from something like a Lee Sin? Then maybe you go for the Rek'Sai so you can compete with it early game, or you can fall back to the Sejuani, especially when you're looking across from someone like Jarvan, and just try to farm it out.
Farm it out, always super healthy in the jungle, and always able to make a move if necessary. Leaves a lot of windows open. Ambition's been on the map for quite some time, now starts to get himself into a bit of a scary situation as he wards up and make sure he has knowledge of where Stomaged is once again. These wards on the bottom tell him also that Stomaged is top, so the team still has that information.
Exactly, and he's walking over to wards on the Krug side as
There you
well.
go.
The entire map is lit up, pretty much every single one of his camps. There's also one on the Raptor camp itself, so the question is, what is Ambition going to do with the information? I suspect that he's going to continue to farm. It kind of fits the Ambition Samsung style of playing it a bit slower,
Very true.
especially when you have a composition that scales as well as the LCKs does.
I think the only time we don't get that Ambition, like safety farming, is when he's on the Nidalee, and then you're just kind of hoping that the team's behind Ambition when he leaps in. It's very interesting in the styles. He sometimes switches through again onto Faker, quickly hits that cleanse out, and he looks like he's going to keep himself safe for now. Faker alive. Another pressure from Stomaged.
Yeah, and still holding onto the flash, and that's the big thing. It's now bottom, hit and miss. Tahm Kench, woo!
Quickly out. Thank you very much. There was this bit, last bit of mana there too, so they just got Zeitnot to safety. As Thaldrin's getting pushed up to the turret, looks like CuVee's just getting to work on the minions, making sure that Thaldrin has to focus on getting his own CS. They're going to be going for the dive. 6 is there. Subjugate goes down to get a little bit more tanky from Thaldrin, but CuVee in a bad spot here as the final touches are they coming down. And Ambition in, Arctic Assault to come out, gets the W, may not need to queue in. The auto comes in for first blood. Ambition Sejuani.
Clinical there from LCK. They wait until CuVee has the ultimate. He's going to use it so he can be the primary tank, and they just corner Thaldrin in between the wall and his tower here. Has difficulty getting around to freedom because of where the nice pillar placement is. Has to use his W, and it may look good there. Maybe he trades 1-for-1, but again, the Trundle is just so tanky, and it's an easy walk down for Ambition.
2 flashes there, definitely necessary. Thaldrin as well, blowing his, but the teleports have been used to get back into lane. We We see Turkey trying to gain a bit of control towards this bottom side of the map too. They say, hey, we take it slow. If we know that there's going to be pressure topside, we may be able to make some work of this Mountain Drake.
And the scary thing is, you know, CuVee didn't get the kill, did participate with an assist. Although I may have to hold up because they will not stop ganking Faker.
Didn't you say tilt Faker? Isn't that what you got to do?
I think that's the only way to win, but even if you do, he still attempts to like 1v9.
When you keep running it back mid, when does it become the salty run back? At what point? Gank 5? Gank 6? Looks like they let this one fizzle out as Gorilla's going to meet Zergsting in the river, but they just walk it out. They'll be fine.
And so again, kind of back to my top point, CuVee didn't pick up the kill, did get the assist, but he's got a massive CS lead, and he also has his Tiamat right now. So Trundle is a huge problem, and it's now the question of, do Turkey expend resources to try to even out the damage that they've done, or do they just say, you know, screw it, we're going to go all in on the bot side, all in on the mid lane, and try to get the teleport play to get him back in?
Looks like Korea is going to do just that, somewhat pinching in the blue buff. It doesn't look like they'll follow. Nice job by Frozen taking that away. He knows his boundaries on Syndra. That is one of his main champions.
This is mine.
Thank you very much. Faker thwarted on that one, will have his own blue buff in just a little bit as Ambition goes around. I was going to say, that gives them an idea, though. They're privy to the knowledge that now Ambition's going to be topside. Something else may be able to work, but Thaldrin's teleport is down as he is just getting bit in the butt in his onesie here by CuVee, owning the lane on this Trundle and using that subjugate. Actually didn't even there. That was a regular fight.
And now there's multiple targets available. We said that CuVee was going to be a problem for Thaldrin. You just saw that. Well, now Frozen sitting in the mid lane without cleanse, without flash, and it's probably going to be a pretty quick and easy decision to say, let's wait for the Sejuani ultimate. Yeah. Just walk back to the mid lane. I'll grab him. You hold him down.
So what is on the list for Turkey to kind of prevent this? A lot of things have been happening. You know, there's some flashes blown from the engaged top. Do they kind of hang out and farm still, knowing that those are down for Korea, or should they act?
I think the opportunity is around Zeitnot in the bot side. It's kind of the one lane that's not necessarily even, but hasn't swung too far one direction or the other. Again, you can try to make that team play. The issue is with Ashe constantly being such low health, it's always going to be dangerous to look for that opportunity. But maybe you get control, or maybe you take advantage of a back timer, get the mid-wave push, and then just start rotating bottom. Maybe you try to 3v2 it.
Just always getting shots in. It's like, I'm MF, but I am poking you now. You just try to get away from it. It does not work.
It's just what dominated Caspa Cup. The fact that she doesn't even have to
it's very
rely
true.
on the trade pattern of that massive double-up damage, that she has, what, 650 range on just laying down the make it rain and just letting Comet do all of the work for her.
So you get some single autos on the back. There's the make it rain Comet. And just out of range for a double up on that one. But they're playing safe. They're okay with having a bit of an advantage in that lane and not trying to push it further where they could make any type of mistake.
And you can see that Ambition is responding to that, you know, trying to slip into the river, again, create that safety net of vision so Gorilla and Prey can have the information that if they want to continue to be aggressive, they can push forward. But right now, it's really about denying as much farm as possible. And you're starting to see that open up between the two AD carries, although that is a big wave pushing into Zeitnot.
And this will be interesting if it works. Faker was seen by Frozen walking up. Now, how much does it just work when Korea puts something in action? Thaldrin's already in a bad spot as he stayed at the turret, and they are able to still walk that up. Frozen, just a few steps behind Faker, wasn't even able to do anything for his top laner.
And unfortunately, Turkey's only option there is to either bring more members than...
Oh,
hold on.
that was pretty keen. I liked it.
That's ambitious.
Yeah,
Is to either bring more... Yeah, you got it.
I have there.
More members than Korea has, or just let it fall.
A little more ambitious as well in front of the turret. Frozen, very, very low, goes down himself. Stomaged, one last shot. Faker gets the double kill in. Gets himself out of turret range along with Ambition. 4-0.
The reason why Korea went for that engagement there, went for the continued skirmish, is because they saw that the key ultimates had already been used, that Turkey had thrown away all of their advantage or all of their tools and their weapons, and then decided to execute.
And just like you said, where will we be back once that Sej ult is up to that down cleanse in the mid lane we just blew on our way to our blue buff?
And now this is going to be two towers falling pretty close back-to-back in favor of Korea. An open map means that you've got more room to run for Ambition. It means that Faker can start roaming around and assisting that bot lane. So classic Prey and Gorilla. They held tight, and now it's time for the rest of the team to move on down and pick them up.
Causing Europe to put their rally caps on now. Things are getting tough for Turkey. There was the initial ult, like you said. A few were down after that instance, and it looks that much better now with that cleanse down on Frozen.
And again, Frozen can do nothing here. There's no Jarvan ultimate, so you can't even use the Cataclysm to either trade the damage back or trap them away from the Syndra.
It's a full reactive vault as well. He didn't even have that many spheres on the ground, so you're missing a bit of damage. Unfortunate. And that's what Korea's very good at, is making you play reactive. Even if Korea's behind, they're very fluid in correcting a mistake or making a way to the advantage once again. It seems like they do it here from the get-go. 3-0 for Faker, and one of those kills over to Ambition.
And now it's the question of where do they strike next. I suspected that it would be the bot lane. Of course, they don't need to pull CuVee. He can continue to be just a terror in the top lane, but Turkey are running out of time in terms of how they want to inch back into this game before a late game team fighting or a late game composition has now just won the early game. So it's just only going to get worse.
You're already getting a very big Trundle that shouldn't be doing too much until he's able to really soak up what Thaldrin does, but they have him with 2 assists. Let's see what they can do towards the bot side. Ambition says, this part of the jungle's mine, and it's for prey.
And there's also a very deep teleport ward if CuVee wants to use it.
Oh, Faker trying to roam warp out. He says, bye-bye. I do not like this situation in a 3v1. He plays that smart and finds his team towards the bottom side of the map.
You guys use a lot of ships passing in the night as kind of your analogy, your go-to phrase. I feel like that was actually ships passing in the night. But here we go, team fight.
Oh, very, very close to going down. Stomaged going to get spit out. Bullet time coming across the team, and that's going to be a pickup in for Gorillas. He slams down the hammer.
And Turkey are unfortunately on the outside track there, because not only was it the clean pickup in the jungle, the blue buff, but it was also the minion wave crashing into the bottom tower, and 3 members of Korea ready and waiting to siege another structure.
What an influx of gold as well. One turret after the other. They haven't even been back to spend this money yet. And they are just floating in gold right now. They'll be back to do that, and back very quick, if you will, onto the Rift to do it once again.
And taking another look at this, it's just not a lot of vision for Turkey here, unfortunately, and walking into a very short corridor against a very fed team. The CC is easy to stack from multiple members. Ambition hits the fadeaway ultimate into a nice ultimate from Prey, but Gorilla's like, nah, I did all of the work. It's my kill.
It kind of all slowly happens in the way that Korea wants it to. They're like, oh, that's great. They've devoured Stomaged. That means Zeitnot can get hit. They went right after Zeitnot, saying he has no safety. It's just very quick, critical thinking is what players will say a lot if the pros have. This player has really good critical thinking that just seems Korea's always on top of.
Yep. So they've now made their back spent their gold. We're closing in on a 10K gold lead in favor for Korea at 14 minutes. They're just about there. So they've set up their triangle vision around the Mountain Dragon. You can already see that Faker's probably going to start pulling it out. It's going to be an easy objective, and then we should start picking up a lot of this vision and this pressure and moving it towards the top side of the map around the Rift Herald. So that should be the kind of the next 5 minutes for Korea.
Rift is still up. Feels like we're a little bit later in the game already with how far Korea has pushed us forward. And that just means Korea may actually get that Rift Herald into Turkey's base at this point. One last hit, Envision. Almost.
And by breaking the outer tower so early, if Rift Herald does fall to Korea, that means that they get to use it on an inner structure. And that's massive for their Baron control, you know, once it takes over for 20 minutes.
They also have the wave control as well. It's so hard for Zeitnot to get over to janitorial duty. Thaldrin to want to be top lane as well to a CuVee. They can already push him out of lane. So it's very hard for these guys to, okay, ships, there you go, there you go. Ships that were looking at each other in the night.
Do ships make eye contact?
They can, sure. As long as the front doesn't fall off. 16 minutes on the clock here as that Rift Herald will get picked up. And it is 31.5 to 23,000 right now. Just hitting Turkey with bags of money. And soon a Rift Herald, as you said, on those inner turrets.
I suspect that they'll give this one over to CuVee and allow him to use it where he pleases. If it goes to an Ambition, possibly they want to use it more so in the mid lane. It is actually Ambition that's going to pick it up. So trying to group together and make full use. They don't just want to get like a chunk and then have Trundle, you know, maybe get a chunk on the tower and then 3 members show up. They want to take the entire structure with it by using it with at least 4 members.
See what the members of Turkey want to do. They are power in numbers for sure. They are walking around in the buddy system right now. It's just going to be too hard to do anything otherwise.
But they need to throw an arrow kind of right now. So they just had vision that Faker was bottom, and of course they're going to swing the Ryze out there. He's got the added mobility of the ultimate. and then CuVee's got complete control over the top side, and that was kind of the small window that Turkey had to say, okay, Faker's over there, CuVee's over here, this is probably a 5v3, and we've got 20 seconds to execute. But just that hesitation, it seems very small, but not throwing the arrow there, not looking for the initiation, although now he gets it there on a control ward.
Very nicely done as well.
Zeitnot's
Rift
like,
Herald coming out, and Rift Herald bopped.
what do you know? I'm going to save the arrow and throw it blind to deny the Rift Herald. So,
Very nicely
okay.
done.
I have been proven wrong. Good job, Zeitnot.
We're like, he has to hit prey. How's he going to thread the needle? Nice play there to actually stop a whole lot of pressure coming out. Great play from Zeitnot.
And of course, he did see Sejuani sneak into the side there with the vision placed at there we go, the top of the Raptor camp as well as the top of the red buff. But that was really cool.
That was absolutely awesome. Faker now says, we're not done here in mid lane. They're still keeping that pressure just past the river. Like I said, if you're able to go past the river with your entire team, it is not looking good for your opponents. Korea now starting to clear out the wards as well, throwing a little wide left, close to Glacial Prison, and now they're trying to save Zeitnot. He gets himself to the back of the line. Stomaged is into the back as well as Faker gets himself to safety. Thaldrin's in, and the middle of the fight gets the bullet time as Bastion really doesn't hit anyone with a follow-up dazzle. Faker and the team looking to realm warp forward so they can get to the back line. They've done such a great job of protecting Zeitnot and Frozen. They've been able to deliver damage in, and Korea are finally thwarted and engaged.
Yeah, Turkey with a great team fight right there to split apart Korea. You called it, Riv. The fact that Gorilla's ultimate really didn't do anything for that team fight was a major turning point, but also huge props to Tahm Kench to be able to maneuver Ashe to safety there and continue to lay out the damage.
That is the one they needed as well. I mean, good hit from Korea as well. They say they don't have an arrow. This should actually be quite an easy fight.
And, you know, Korea is just trying to flex their dominance. They didn't get the tower because they couldn't use the Rift Herald, so they're trying to go for these micro objectives like the red buff and to continue to push their advantage, but they just get really split in this team fight. It was a great knockup from Stomaged. He gets to the back line. Thaldrin is joining him, but the two carries are still protected. So while the tanks are causing havoc to the back line, Frozen and Zeitnot, with the help of Tahm Kench, just kind of get to walk through Korea and force them out of the jungle.
And we talked about it a little before. You said Cosmic Radiance always better when you use it on your own accord. There, in reaction, the damage was already done by Turkey, and they were able to push forward. Zeitnot staying alive, putting out 3,000 damage in that fight is imperative for Turkey to keep this going.
And the big thing is that it pumps the brakes on Korea's snowball.
Yeah, a little bit. Pistol voyage. Not a voyage he wanted to completely take. Just himself back into the game.
But I did like the idea. They threw the arrow, Tahm Kench was ready to go. Fortunately, just didn't connect, and Korea is still going to play the rotation game as they now swing it to the top side, find the waiting creep wave.
It's one of those old fun solo queue plays when you run teleport Ashe, throw an arrow down middle, teleport to the turret and kill the guy when he gets hit.
I actually have a Smurf just for that named Ashhole.
There you go. There you go. There you go. I was right about you. 6-1, 20 minutes in. We'll see here just about 10,000 gold for Korea, but usually that means an entire game from them. Not many teams can come back against the prowess of the Korean All-Stars when they can get a lead as such.
But Korea did struggle against Turkey a couple of times in the World Championship. We now have a little bit more skirmishing.
Not able to
Lot
deliver
more
the damage.
skirmishing.
That Blade of the Rune King is actually chunking down these guys pretty good. He has very tanky opponents going up against. So if he can keep himself at range, he's going to keep himself in a good spot here. That's not going to help, but a beautiful disengage from Turkey, denying a lot of damage. Can they deny the turret, though? They threw out the Maokai ultimate. Don't believe it's going to do too much. Korea wants to fight right through it. They find Stomaged. He goes down immediately. Zergsting brings Zeitnot back, and Thaldrin is left to try and walk out of this, but they cut the tree down. 8-1 is 2 more picked up by the Korean All-Stars.
And that's a good demonstration of the difference between Korea and other regions. It's the fact of where they're picking their fights. Yes, Turkey look confident, they look strong, they're trying to force them out of the jungle, but Korea say, no, that's not why we're here at all. We're not fighting over Raptor Camp, we're fighting over your tower.
Right, that rinse and repeat.
Exactly, they take the structure, they swing it to Baron, and now it is red zone defense for Turkey here.
Faker in a bad spot, takes a little preliminary damage to start off the fight as Frozen sets up the orbs, but he doesn't have an ult. He still gets a scatter of the week, takes down Thaldrin. Rather, that was the team. I'm sorry, that was Ambition. And now they're going to be continuing the fight. Zergsting gets himself back. Thought he would live, but Faker is able to take him out that time. And now it is Zeitnot. He does not have Zergsting, and he goes down without the protection. Korea is finally starting to pick Turkey apart in these fights instead of one by one. Frey getting a little too greedy, and he's going to be doing that until he comes back up to hope it doesn't happen again.
Faker. They're going.
Stomaged, little ambitious, I like it. A lot of low health to make you do some really crazy things.
Faker was like hide around the corner. Can I just run up? We take another look at it. Great zoning from CuVee there. Gets a super nice pillar, slows them all down. Yes, he trades his life for it, but the damage has been done because the Baron is secured by Korea. A little bit close for comfort, especially with Syndra in the game, who has very high burst damage, but they showcase why they're the super team, take it down, and then take the rest of the fight. Zeitnot, at that point, you're just Ashe, you're just like, great.
Going down, kind of know it. Didn't use heal on that one. Knows he's probably going to have a better chance using it in another fight. And we'll see what Korea can now do with the Baron. The All-Stars are going to make their way around the map. Probably allow Faker to do a bit of a split push until they get all the minions in their favor. Turkey's trying to do a good job of clearing that out and saying we need breathing room so we can at least take a few fights before they're in our base.
Yeah, and the priority lanes for Korea, of course, are going to be the mid and the bottom. You want to secure that Baron inhib. Mid gives you most control over the map, especially because that bot inhib is very damaged and very low already. Speaking of what Turkey want to do at that point, you're exactly right. They've kind of got a very tiny window left in this game to try to make something happen. We talked about their pick tools as their win condition, and that's really all it is. You're playing Yahtzee. You're just throwing it out, seeing what you catch, and hopefully it's something good.
Can this even be a Thaldrin teleport behind? Because they're really, the front and the back line of Korea melds together if anything were to happen with Frey.
It's also the fact that the gold discrepancy is so massive that even if Thaldrin got exactly, even if Turkey got the best case miracle fight, it's
a good way to put it.
Still might not be enough to turn the tides of this. They're gonna have to go real scrappy and real crazy.
Kind of weather this storm or a very big mistake from the Korean All-Stars, but I feel like that's not something you see at All-Stars. Unless they might be very, very far ahead. Almost the case here as possible pressure to Stomaged in the top. Ambition doesn't take hold of that, though.
I mean, Ambition said in an interview that Korea will not lose a match.
This is true.
They already fell to the LMS, so...
Point. He's lying to us. Oh, Stomaged goes in, finds Prey on the backside. Arrow is going to hit Gorilla on the front, though, as the Cosmic Radiance comes down. Korean All-Stars are able to deliver the damage back to Turkey, and now they're onto the inhibitor turrets and the inhibitor inside Turkey's base.
That was just beautiful. The fact that the Cosmic Radiance hits just as Prey is using the ultimate. So yes, it was used reactionary to Jarvan trying to go for the engagement, but all of the damage was front-loaded as Korea are just running through them.
25 minutes on the clock, turning the Turkish All-Stars base into shambles. The Korean All-Stars will look for the last bit of damage on the Nexus as Faker goes down on his Ryze for the first time in the game, and that is going to be Korea at 2-1.
A 25-minute steamroll from the LCK Superstars.
They found their groove in that game for sure. Faker with quite a bit of pressure on the mid lane. As you said, the Turkish All-Stars were trying to go in saying, if we can tilt Faker, we can get the game. But today, an untiltable man played League of Legends in the mid lane for Korea.
Yeah, and Jarvan did what he could. He had, I think, 2 to 3 ganks on the mid lane. He threw some pressure down into the bot side, but like you said, Faker is the best for the reason. Absorbs all of that pressure. Praying really like, we're used to this. No one's coming for us. It's us against the world. And then CuVee gets all of the time in the world to just pop off against Thaldrin.
See the Turkish All-Stars as well. Not faring as well as they would have liked coming in, but it is the All-Stars match. It's either going to be hot and spicy, and somebody's got to do poorly on the other end of that hot and spicy.
And the thing is Turkey can still hold their heads high. We still got, some of their strong flashes of brilliance in terms of their early game.
Absolutely.
That sick blind arrow from Zeitnot there to interrupt the Rift Herald.
First time I've ever seen that happen. From an arrow. Yeah. Usually you don't see it actually stopped in games because they always cast it so far away, but yeah, that was really cool to see. They were definitely trying as much as they could to be like, we still need wards, we can do this, but when Korea gets a hold of a game like that, it becomes so difficult.
clinical. Again, we use that word all the time. It feels dirty to me, but ultimately that's what it was.
Surgically removed from the map.
Go top, go mid, go bottom. We've got the Rift Trail, we got the Dragon. What can you want?
All the fans loving it here at All Stars. And to give us their thoughts on that win from Korea, let's send it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Riv. Korea bouncing back from a loss yesterday to move to 2-1. Unfortunately, though, this doesn't push them ahead of the LMS in the standings, and so they will be moving on to the knockout stages in that second seed for Group A, but grabbing the victory here nonetheless.
And it's nice to see Faker having a good game, especially after what he looked like in their loss. You know, he had a pretty rough game against Zoe in that one when he was on Talia. So again, back to his dominant ways.
Yeah, probably a little bit angry about it, you know, the Zoe, and then Karsa was just all over him previously. So he finally got to play League of Legends and team up with Ambition, who didn't leave him alone.
I mean, it was a very methodical victory. You think about the 3 games they played. Obviously, the loss to LMS really stands out, but not attacking CuVee top, not having CuVee fall behind like he did against the LMS. Things just followed a very predictable cadence. And this man on your screen, he wasn't in that containment role like the Talia against Zoe matchup. He could be a playmaker, and the moment the triple kill came in, it felt like the game was iced.
I mean, he still had work to do, though, in terms of avoiding the focus thrown at him by the TCL. Stomaged, the level 2 gank, right? Return ganks after that. So Faker's still under a fair amount of pressure, but showcasing, once again, why he is one of the best players in the world.
And I mean, honestly, this is Faker at his best. When he's able to absorb the pressure, when he's able to roam around the map, affect side lanes, that's when he looked at his best at Worlds, and I think that's what he was really able to do here.
I mean, just coming back to my point, though, it's very likely now we will get Korea versus China as one of our semifinals. I think MLXG looks at the tape, thinks about how Karsa undid CuVee in the top lane. CuVee made some mistakes. He was punished, and kind of Korea fell apart around CuVee not having lane pressure. To me, that was the big change in that particular matchup. I think that's the way you attack Korea, because usually he's a rock in the top side. You set him behind, you get things going. Maybe things can be different.
Yeah, in the first 2 matches for Korea, actually, CuVee was put behind rather easily and shut down early. Found ways into the game later in the first match. But yeah, exactly. Attacking CuVee is something you can do, but I want to see him, like, bust out the cannon. I want to see the cannon top with Spellbook.
We've been waiting
now
for it,
a couple days, and we haven't seen it for anyone.
It got banned once, and that's it. It was a big pick in Kesper Cup because you could flex it as well. Support cannon is fine. It's very good with the unsealed Spellbook, going Ignite in the top lane, being Pantheon-esque with your lane pressure. Maybe holding it for the big match. Maybe holding it for China.
You already kind of put a spotlight on that knockout stage, talking about that matchup. Of course, if China does win and locks in that 1-2 matchup, the other one would be the LMS of Group A being the 1 seed against Southeast Asia as the 2 seed. So very interesting matchups here. You know, the fact that, yes, we do have those 2 major power regions in China and Korea, but then Europe, NA, nowhere to be found. LMS in Southeast Asia stepping up.
Yeah, completely not what people expected, and not, you know, in the order that people expected. People were thinking LMS probably wouldn't even get out of the group based on how they have been performing recently. Instead, they are first. They'll be playing against the GPL, who's, you know, SEA rather, who people were not expecting to do anything when they're coming in with all these different subs and visa issues, and it's honestly pretty impressive how fast these players have come together.
Right, and this is all, of course, ignoring the fact that Faker as well will later today have to be playing more 1v1s, this time against Bjergsen. So good that he's feeling maybe a little bit better with a win under his belt, bouncing back, not having to play against the Zoe this time around. But will he be able to push that momentum forward? Because Bjergsen essentially being knocked out, right, has all of his focus on the 1v1s and doing his region proud in that arena.
And he's NA's last hope because Sneaky is already knocked out. They're already eliminated in the 5v5. So the last chance for you know, some NA greatness is Bjergsen doing well in that 1v1. It means he has to beat Faker.
I mean, All-Star's all about regional representation, but it's feeling eerily like a Rift Rival situation because if EU and NA get knocked out of the 1v1s, then it will be the Korea, LMS, and also China Rift Rivals recreated with also Southeast Asia thrown in. So it's kind of eerie. Like, it is the 1v1 that's the last hope for the regional representation of the West.
Yeah,
we're good at
so
finding
far,
hope,
at
though.
least.
Yeah, we are very good at finding hope.
I can find hope anywhere as an NA fan.
Year after year.
Important skill.
It'll be this year. But, I mean, we're kind of talking like Group B is already settled, but it's not. LPL has to play Brazil, and we all remember INTZ, you know, knocking out EDG for
they're
one
definitely
game at the start of
bogey
Worlds last
that
year.
particular squad. You're right. That is the one squad. It feels like the Brazilian squad have had the target on China and been able to take them down multiple times. So catharsis and potentially 3-0 for China.
Not decided just yet for Group B, but Group A just about locked in. Before we go to commercial, let's send it over to Pastry Time, who's standing by for an interview with the bot lane from the LMS.
Hey guys, I'm here with BB, the All-Star AD carry from the LMS side. Been a great showing so far. BB, I have to ask you, what has your All-Star event been like so far?
你觉得这次明星赛的感想是什么？
这次的明星的感想就是，其实我们没有想到我们会表现得这么好，就是一开始就是我们在这组，然后会希望就是至少要晋级，但没想到我们可以以3-0的3胜0败的这个分数晋级这样。
We actually never thought we'd done so well in this group matchup. We just want to get out. We just want to advance to the group, but we actually never thought we'd be able to do a 3-0.
Well, you have advanced now, and of course, a lot of fans voted you in to get you here to this event. You've been playing for a long time, but did you think you would make it as the All-Star for the region?
很多粉丝投票给你，让你成为这次 MVP 中路。那你觉得这次你有办法成为这次最佳 MVP 来出赛的原因是？
你说
对，
就应该是从以前就开始累积的吧，就是尤其是从牺牲多的粉丝，他们可能会希望，就是因为我要退役了，所以他们可能想要在最后的大赛来看我的发挥，然后我也非常感谢他们的投票支持，就是所以我这次的明星赛就是尽我所能的发挥给我的粉丝看。
So he has been playing since season 2, of course, and is very appreciative for all the fans that voted for him to come out to be in the All-Star game. That's he's gonna give it all he's got to repay that to prove to his fan that they didn't do it wrong.
And given that you have been playing for so long, is there anything different or special or fun about the All-Star event that you find kind of versus more the World Championships or the regular season or the other tournaments that you've played? Is All-Star something special to you as a player that has been playing for so long?
你已经在这场赛事打这么多年的经验，那你觉得说这次的明星赛跟以前比起来最大不同是什么？
因为这次这次明星赛官方就是好像是说要认真打，就是把一些区分模式都给取消了，所以其实一开始我被选上的时候，我觉得就是压力蛮大的，因为可能过了1-2个月，然后都比较没有像以前就是一直在打 League of Legends， 所以这次的话我就尽我所能发挥，然后也是就是不要打差，然后尽量不要当拖油瓶，因为其实这次能参加明星赛。就是很谢谢粉丝投给我，所以我要表现得好一点给他们看。
So basically, this time Riot being told we're going to do a try hard. That's why we get rid of all the fun mode, all this kind of stuff. So we want to prove to our fans from LMS that I will give it all it's got. Especially this will be my last main event. So I'm doing everything that I can to actually win the tournament.
Well, of course, best of luck moving forward. My last fun question for you, though. You're obviously a very well-known Ezreal player. You have a skin, of course, for the champion. A lot of changes coming into this patch, especially for Ezreal, who's quite strong. What do you think of Ezreal with the new runes?
基本上你以伊泽瑞尔为出名的选手，那这次的 S8 的符文改动，你觉得对伊泽瑞尔来讲有最大改动是什么？
第一个最大的改动就是我可能一般在打认可的时候，就是再也选不到他，因为他现在真的是太 OP 了。那我觉得改动的话，就是那个偷窃的那个符文，就是让他变得成长性太快了，就是可能他在20几分钟有3件大装，所以会让他非常的 OP 这样。
Right now, I'm afraid I will not be able to pick Ezreal in rank due to the Ezreal is being super overpowered right now, especially with the Kleptomancer being able to give him tremendous amount of economy growth, and that caused Ezreal to be such an overpowered champion.
And I guess some final words for you. You said this would be your last main event. Is there anything you want to say to all the fans out there that have been with you for so long?
这次将会是你最后的明星赛，那你有什么想要对粉丝讲的话呢？
就是谢谢，就是支持我的粉丝们，就是希望我这次的表现就是不会让你们就是后悔投给我，就是我也会尽我所能的发挥。
So thank you for all the fans that voted for me. I will not let you down. I'll give it all I got to win this event for you guys.
Well, best of luck moving forward. Thank you very much, baby. We're going to throw it off to a commercial break.
And Ambition in Arctic Assault to come out, gets the W, may not need to queue in, the auto comes in.
야 뭐야 이거 버그.
나이스.
바텀도 많이 유리해요.
나이스.
이거 버그
바텀 많이 유리. 바텀 많이 유리.
Here we go, team fight.
Oh, very, very close to going down. Stomaged gonna get spit out. Bullet time. Faker gets himself the safety. Thaldrin's in, and the middle of the fight gets the bullet time as Bastion really doesn't hit anyone.
신드라 노공.
애쉬 난 끝.
신드라 노공이야. 신드라 노공. 오케이. 15개. 나이스. 신드라까지.
Arrow is going to hit Gorilla on the front, though, as the Cosmic Radiance comes down. Korean All-Stars are able to deliver the damage back to Turkey.